James Comey has had multiple hiccups throughout the investigation. As a Hillary Clinton campaign worker, I witnessed and experienced a lot of those hiccups or errors in the investigation. But let me say this: Donald Trump is under investigation.
Big shakeup in Washington today. President Trump fired FBI Director James Comey. This just days following his testimony on Capitol Hill last week. This letter is what was sent to Director Comey. Dear Director Comey, I have received the attached letters from the Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General of the United States recommending your dismissal as Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. I have accepted their recommendation, and you are hereby terminated and removed from office effective immediately. While I greatly appreciate you informing me on 3 separate occasions that I am not under investigation, I nevertheless concur with the judgment of the Department of Justice that you are not able to effectively lead the Bureau. Now, it's essential that we find new leadership for the FBI that restores public trust and confidence in its vital law enforcement mission. I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Of course, signed by President Donald J. Trump. So joining me now to discuss this and more on politics, my political panel tonight, Chris Nyweem, Republican strategist and contributor at The Hill, and Michael Starr Hopkins. He's a Democratic strategist and contributor at Future Endeavors, of course, signed by President Donald J. Trump. So joining me now to discuss this and more on politics, my political panel tonight, Chris Nyweem, Republican strategist and contributor at The Hill, and Michael Starr Hopkins. He's a Democratic strategist and contributor at the Huffington Post. The Huffington Post. Gentlemen, thanks for being here tonight. Let's dive right in. James Comey is out, fired, no buts about it. This after maybe a gaffe on the Hill last week, saying that Clinton aide Huma Abedin forwarded hundreds of thousands of emails to her now estranged husband's computer so he could print them for her. Was this fanning the flames that his announcement to Congress just days ahead of the election? Were in fact politically motivated. They're using what he said on the Hill last week and his handling of the Clinton email investigation as the premise to fire him. Michael, let's go to you first on this. What are your thoughts?
Listen, James Comey misspoke when he said that Huma Abedin had forwarded hundreds of thousands of emails. James Comey has had multiple hiccups throughout the investigation. As a Hillary Clinton campaign worker, I witnessed and experienced a lot I witnessed and experienced a lot of those hiccups or errors in the investigation. But let me say this. Donald Trump is under investigation by the FBI for collusion with Russia. And for him to fire the FBI director while that investigation is ongoing is Nixonian, to say the best, and a constitutional crisis, to say the worst. This is huge.
Now,
this is huge.
Now, Chris, you know that the left is going to say that Trump is burying the bodies, so to speak, by firing what looks like everyone who might be able to find a paper trail to this Russian investigation. How is the White House ever going to get around this cloud hanging over them?
So I agree with my Democratic colleague that it's really shocking. I mean, the timing's interesting. I mean, the timing's interesting. I mean, if anything, it increases the scrutiny. But if anything, it increases the scrutiny. But this president, one of his positives, one of his sort of alluring aspects is you know the timing and the motivation behind. The timing and the motivation behind the things that he does. But again, though, you know, Senate Democrats were looking. Chuck Schumer was looking for intense immigration matters in 2015, and then he was crying about it when it came through to the Trump timing. There's never that sort of equalization. And again, when it came to the tarmac meeting, you know, Democrats weren't talking about this. So we have that sort of partisan back and forth. But if anything, I think it actually increases the scrutiny on the president and the media and out there with the timing of this. So I don't necessarily see an immediate political advantage to the president. And it was an interesting development that the FBI director is out at this time.
Mike, do you think...
know, I got to say...
Please, go ahead, please.
You know, I got to say...
Please, go ahead,
sorry,
please.
to Chris... say...
Please, go ahead,
sorry,
please.
to Chris's...
Go ahead,
sorry,
please.
to Chris's point... I don't think you'll find very many Democrats who are going to defend Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton's conversation on the tarmac. It was inappropriate, and as an attorney myself, a criminal defense attorney, I would never defend that. I think that was inappropriate, and I think now with the president being under investigation, you know, you're right. Richard Burr, a Republican, is stepping up and saying that the firing of James Comey while the investigation is going is inappropriate.
Now, do you guys think that there's any chance that a fair and impartial investigation, at least in the eyes of the public, can get underway, seeing as there's been so much upheaval surrounding this entire investigation?
So Manila, I will say this. So, Manila, I will say this. I do think that it is interesting that the president, this is a president who said that, he fires people and he's in charge, sort of used this memo from the Deputy Attorney General as this recommendation was given to me and I'm using the recommendation. I will concede that to Michael, that I do find that sort of out of character with the president that makes those tough decisions. But if anything, the scrutiny will be raised, not decreased. And as, across the board, President Obama, President Trump, we do President Obama, President Trump, we do need to take individuals that represent the United States of America seriously when there's these sort of issues. But on Capitol Hill, it's always which way the wind blows. And Mr. Comey is a man, not a waffle to be flopped around. So it'll be interesting to see how all this plays out. But it was certainly it was a key development.
Michael, how do you think this